There we go. Is that better? This thing never works for me. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, working on sound, guys. Hang on. There we go. Showing all kinds of. We'll get there. Just hang on, guys. It's not that complicated. There we go. As I say, it can't be that hard. I'm looking right at it. You guys looking at this new chart? It's gone up another 1,000 since yesterday. Compared to 2009, believe it or not, compared to 2009, right now these numbers are relatively small. You guys remember swine flu back in 2009? Well, swine flu, we're going to take a look at some numbers here in just a few minutes, but I remember swine flu crystal clear. It wasn't all that long ago. Hold on just a second, guys. Yeah, swine flu affected between 10 and 20% of the population. That's where we come up with around 800 million people. Probably closer to 1 billion people, truth be known, that were affected. Hang on just a second, guys. I'm getting this monitor over here up and running. Kind of helps me see the chat room, you know. I like to say hi to you guys. Here, there we go. Now I can see you. Good deal. Just had to refresh the page. All right. Hello, Linda, Cheryl. Hi, everybody. All right, now that we're up and running. No, back in 2009 and 2010, swine flu went around the whole globe rather quickly. There weren't like real-time charts like you see right here. So total confirmed cases as of right now, just under 10,000. But you can see down here, the graph is climbing. That's kind of leveled off in the last couple of days. It hasn't gone up as much as it did, say, from the 24th to the 31st. So in the last week, it's kind of leveled off a little, even though it's gone up 1,000 since yesterday. It does seem to be slowing down some, if that makes any sense. But compared to the swine flu of 2009, oh, wow, that was global. It lasted for 6 months. So this is just getting started. So compared to the swine flu, if it's anything at all like that, which they kind of are, you know, they're kind of similar in ways, you know, this could go on for 6 months. 2009 pandemic, swine flu pandemic, lasted from early 2009 to late 2010. Goes on to say they were comparing it to, other historic flus, Spanish flu, bird flu, Eurasian pig flu. They're saying that the swine flu, right here is where I came up with that number. Swine flu is estimated that 11 to 21% of the global population contracted the illness. 151,000 to 579,000 people perished as a result of the swine flu in 2009-2010. So we see these numbers here on this chart, and it looks alarming. That's a lot, but compared to the swine flu, it's just getting started. So hopefully this is just getting started, and all of the implementations that they're putting in place right now, they're actually using drones, according to this article here, to monitor over in the city, the residents in the city of Wuhan. They're using drones to prevent local residents from gathering outside without wearing masks during the nationwide battle against the coronavirus. So drones are monitoring this area here. I'm going to take you there right now, and then we're going to come back to this area, Puerto Escondido. Something happened there today that I think is related to the large earthquake, the 7.7. The shoreline was separating from the beach. Just incredible. Had to have been from the earthquake. So let's go to, here's Wuhan right here. Very densely populated area. Sits right next to a very large river. Not sure the name of the river, but you can see there's a lot of bridges that go back and forth across that river for, commerce and whatnot. Barges in the river, but they're using drones to monitor this area to remind people, according to the article. We'll come back and read it. The coronavirus keeps spreading across the country and has affected 9,800 people. That was when this was written, just a few hours ago. This story is very new. 213 people have perished. Chinese experts have warned that countries or counties and villages to pay close attention for the control of the virus and prevent it from spreading amongst residents around the area. And people from what I understand, India sent an aircraft over to Wuhan and brought back their residents, and I guess they're keeping them in quarantine for a while until they can determine that they do not have this virus. So I think they probably have learned from the swine flu how it spread so quickly around the globe. So maybe putting these implementations in place will help keep it from getting out of hand like the swine flu did, or at least potentially out of hand. Because in today's world, with all of the travel that we have with airplanes, germs spread constantly around the globe on a day-to-day basis, regardless of whether or not there's a virus outbreak like we're having right here. Germs are constantly being spread. Can you imagine back in 1918 when the Spanish flu swept the globe? There wasn't even modern aviation like we have today. 50 million people. 50 million people. Swine flu, or the Spanish flu, back in 1918 and through 1920. Can you imagine what that would have done if there would have been aircraft like we have today? 3,000 and 4,000 airplanes moving people all around the world. Unbelievable. So to keep things from getting to a situation like that, maybe the things that they're doing are probably a good idea. Washington activates emergency response center in wake of coronavirus. This is the state of Washington in the Pacific Northwest. Article dated yesterday, January 20th. Washington has declared a level 1 response in the wake of the coronavirus. A global outbreak that has been declared a global health emergency by the World Health Organization. The declaration by the state of Washington means officials have activated its Emergency Operations Center, which is located at Camp Murray. The location is one of 3 sites where state health employees are working to coordinate efforts in Washington and beyond. Teams at the center are helping the healthcare system be prepared. If they are potentially having patients come that are prepared to ask for travel history, prepared to know how to do an assessment of the patient, said John Wiseman, Washington Secretary of Health. So probably, again, not necessarily a bad idea taking preventative measures. Maybe if we'd have taken more preventative measures against the swine flu back in 2009, it wouldn't have possibly affected as many people as it did. 10 to 20% of the population, if it was 10% of the population, 8 billion people, that's approximately 800 million. If it was 20%, like it's implying here, you're looking at over 1 billion people. 1.5 billion could have affected. So hopefully that will not be the case this year with the coronavirus. But again, it's very new. It's just getting started. These things can last for, in fact, it was just updated. One person. If we look at the numbers, primarily over in the China mainland, but I just saw one up here. That's fairly new. In fact, that almost looks like that's Siberia. Wow, that's surprising. They're trying to keep it out of India. India has a population of 1 billion plus. China, 1 billion plus. Very densely populated part of the earth. Unfortunately, 213 people have perished, 222 recovered, 9,926 confirmed cases. So we're keeping a close eye on this. It's a concern. This can affect any of us, watching this video right now. Got 951 people that, we got to look out for each other. And if we keep our hands clean, keep your hands away from your face, exercise common sense with yourself and your kids. I will say this about those masks. From what I've heard, there's a shortage on these masks. See these people wearing these masks? Well, here's the thing. And there's an article dated today also, just a few hours ago. India bans export of all kind of respiratory masks. India banned exports of all kinds of personal protection equipment, including clothing and masks used to protect people from airborne particles. So they are no longer exporting these masks. They're keeping them for their own nation, which, that's their prerogative. Probably not a bad idea considering there's 1 billion people in India. But here's the thing. These masks protect your nose and, of course, your mouth from potential airborne particulates entering your mouth or your nose, but it doesn't protect your eyes. So really, they're not any type of a guarantee against airborne particulates. You can see a young lady right there that's got glasses on. She's probably more protected. There's a young lady there wearing glasses as well. They're probably even a little more protected. You got to protect your eyes too, if that's going to really, really work for you. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, but seeing all these people wearing masks, I guess it would protect maybe against if they were to sneeze or something like that, which then it would keep all those particles contained inside the mask. So maybe that's a type of, measure that they're looking at. But somebody that's not wearing or one, and that has it, and those particulates get airborne, just because you're wearing a mask is not going to keep it from going in your eyes. That's how people get pink eye. You can wear a mask to prevent yourself from catching the pink eye virus, but if it gets in your eye, you got it, So just something to consider. If you really want to protect yourself and you don't see other people wearing masks, if everybody wears a mask, fine. Then more than likely it's going to be effective. I'm not saying it's going to not be effective, but you need to protect your eyes somehow. I'm not saying run around with a pair of goggles on, but if you really want to know the truth, that's the very best defense against that is goggles. But it goes on to say here about India not exporting any masks. The move assumes significance as there could be a spurt in demand for such products due to outbreak of deadly coronavirus that has claimed more than 200 lives in China, while the number of confirmed cases reached near 10,000. And it is getting close to 10,000. But keep in mind, swine flu back in 2009 affected over 800 million people. So this is in the very, very early stages. Hopefully it won't continue, but this could, just so you know, could go on for many, many months. Hopefully it won't, but the potential is definitely there. I did read where some airlines are halting all flights for at least a couple of weeks, kind of see where this is going, in and out of at least the Wuhan area. Which again, it's probably not a bad idea to keep from spreading this all over the globe. The government has reached out to over 600 Indians living in China's Hubei province, that's near Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak, to ascertain their willingness to be brought back to India. They're trying to get any India citizens back to India out of China. In a separate notification, also banned imports of stock lot papers. Not quite sure what that means. These are a kind of discarded, improper, sized, and unused papers. The move aims at cutting down imports on non-essentials into the country. And here you can see people wearing full body suits, and they definitely have on eye protection. I heard they're spraying the streets over here in Wuhan with a disinfectant. This area right here. I don't know if you guys have read that or not, but I've heard that these areas here, the roads, some of the roads, I don't know where, I don't know any of the specifics. This is a very large community. This isn't just a small village. Look at that. There's a series of high-rise towers right there. There's tens of thousands of people that live right there. Very densely populated area. And these roads, look at all the cars on these roads. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of buildings, a lot of high-rises. And those are tall structures. I don't know if I can get ground view here or not. Let's try. I kind of doubt it, but we'll take a look. No, I didn't think so. But the roads here are being sprayed with a disinfectant. I guess some form of Lysol or something. I don't know. But that's a large city that's basically under quarantine. So that's ground zero right there. Supposedly they're going to try to build a 1,000-room facility, a hospital, in less than 10 days to satisfy fulfill the needs that they have ongoing over here in this area. Large facility in 10 days. There's an area real quick I want to come back to right here. We're going to talk about this area here in just a moment. But I want to continue on with this here. This is from the NewYorkTimes.com, where I'm a digital member of the New York Times. I get reports here every day. They're having live updates here. Coronavirus live updates. U.S. temporarily bars foreigners who visited China. The action will restrict most foreign nationals from entering the United States if they've been to China. So they're not letting people in the country right now that have been to China to try to keep this from spreading. Stocks sink after airlines cancel flights to China. Delta, United, and American Airlines are suspending all flights between U.S. and mainland China. And I think that's for a period of 2 weeks. Let's read here. A traveler at an international Kennedy Airport in New York City on Friday. Flight cancellations from companies like Delta have caused stock prices to drop. Delta Airlines, United Airlines, American Airlines all said on Friday they were suspending all service to China mainland as concerns about the coronavirus spread internationally. American said it will suspend all flights to and from mainland China immediately through March 27th. American and United will continue flights to Hong Kong. Delta and United said they would suspend service starting February 6th and resume operations on March 28th. So you're looking at a period of nearly 8 weeks. And you know what? It could be longer. Just saying, right now, they're saying 8 weeks. Delta, which does not fly to Hong Kong, said it would suspend service through April 30th, which is probably not a bad idea. We were just talking about how these airplanes spread germs all around the globe 24 hours a day. So that would only enhance what we've got going on right now. So probably not a bad idea. And if we'd have done the same thing, which I don't recall, all of the specifics surrounding the swine flu pandemic of 2009, 2010, but they did try to, I've read right here, that they tried to learn from that back in 2009 and not, maybe take some extra precautions this time around, and one of it was through air travel. So swine flu, I remember the headlines back in 2009, and that lasted for several months. 2009 all the way through 2010. No drones back then. Drones were not as mainstream in 2009 as they are today. Drones are everywhere today. And I was really surprised when I read this article that they're using drones to monitor the coronavirus. Unbelievable. Wow. You can find all these articles, guys, that I'm referring to down in the description box below. And I got some other things I want to share with you guys as well. But I did want to touch on this, as this is becoming a international concern. It's going to affect, or could potentially affect, everybody on Earth in some capacity. Just, again, exercise good common sense. Keep your hands clean. Keep your hands out of your face. Don't be sticking your fingers in your mouth, and all that. Just basic stuff. You guys are all very smart and on the ball. You know what to do. Protect yourself. Protect your kids. But I just wanted to talk about swine from 2009 because I do remember that. Another thing, real quick. We'll come back to this here in just a minute. I've got a little more information to talk about with regard to the corona. Let's check real quick to see if it's updated. I don't know how often it updates here. I mean, there wasn't any type of website like this during the swine flu. I mean, if there was, the numbers would be quite staggering. You know, it would have been in the millions. I don't know if it would have been that way when it necessarily first started, but this one here is just about to reach 10,000. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully it'll go down and just you know, this will be it. But don't look for that. Based off of history, these things can go on for a long time. I'm looking at a different monitor I have up here. It's an overflow monitor because on laptops, excuse me, you guys all know you get too many windows open, which I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 10 windows open. That's an overflow monitor. So you get too many windows open, you can't even read the tabs at the top of your page. So it helps me. It's just a little TV, to be honest. Stories. I want to talk about that real quick. I don't know how the notifications go out with regard to stories, but every day I've been doing a little 10-15 minute story. If you guys click on my face, basically right there, and there, if you'll see that red ring around my avatar, my channel logo, which is my face, that means there's a new story up. And if you click on that, it takes you to the story. It's a new feature, kind of cool. I use it every day. And what I do is do previews of upcoming videos that I may do that day, or later on in that week. So it's just a little 10 to 15 second video that you can watch right there if you go click on the YouTube page or wherever you see my avatar banner. It's on my YouTube thing. So I don't know how that gets notified or if it does send out notifications, but you can always find it right there. Just a 10 to 15 second story, and I use that as a preview tool for upcoming videos. Guys, I want to go back to Google Earth. You guys all remember this just came across my Facebook page less than 30 minutes ago. In fact, my wife pointed it out to me. Okay, where we're going is right here. Puerto Escondido, southern Mexico, right in here. If we look at that position, it's straight across from the 7.7 earthquake. In fact, well, I got the earthquake feature turned off, but the earthquake was right here in the, right around the 19-degree north latitude. Where we're going is also pretty close to the same general area. It's around the 16-degree latitude. The beach in this area is being pulled away from the shoreline right in this area here. You're going to see something on Facebook that was posted today. Check this out. We're going to come back to this area here, but you're going to see huge chunks of sand falling off into the water. Check this out. Here we go. Look at that. It's like a landslide, but it's a sand slide basically, and you can see people standing here taking pictures, watching the sand fall into the ocean. You're talking several feet there, and that's adjacent to where the large earthquake was yesterday. So it's basically telling us that this plate is definitely on the move. That would be the Caribbean plate or part of the North American plate. I'd have to take a look and see. I don't know right off the top of my head. Right in that area there, but you can tell that it's done it for years. It's just not very often that you get to see it in real time. That happened today. Look at the chunks of sand falling off into the water. Look at that. There it goes. It's like quicksand. Look at that. Unbelievable. Talk about beach erosion. I mean, that's gone forever. So that beach, I mean, just instantly got smaller. Look at that. Now you can tell people are standing around watching this just in a state of astonishment. You can see more cracks forming up here, being pulled into the ocean. Just incredible. You can find that at the link also below in the description box. It's at my Facebook page. It's Sao Sabalita, and that's out of southern Mexico, right in here. My guess that's a side effect from the large earthquake that's still, you know, producing aftershocks. No really large ones, which is good. But I would say that there will be more large earthquakes in the coming days. Yeah, they're probably not done yet. Let's take a look at the Schumann resonance real quick. First, I want to check power outages because there was supposed to be a large wind event today. And so far, so good. And that's a good thing. There were high winds forecasted for Southern California, or at least the potential. That was a couple of days ago. Forecasts can and will change, and it doesn't look like it got super windy, but they were predicting at one time winds up to 70 miles per hour, 70 mile an hour gusts, 20 to 30 mile an hour sustained. Schumann looks pretty good. Got a few spikes here and there, several hours apart, nothing too long duration. There's not really much solar activity. We have seen, I will say this week, we have seen some backside activity in the magnetosphere. Let's take a look at the sun here real quick. If you go up here, click on sun, that will take you to the Solar Dynamics Observatory. This also, if I'm not mistaken, was conceived in 2009. I remember when that instrument went up, 2009, and I think we got to start using data in 2010. But you can see there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, for the most part, the sun, Earth-facing side is blank. There's no sunspots. There's no sigmoids, active regions. Very little going on. When you look at this disk right now, it's very, very quiet. You can see a little bit of activity potentially right here. The different colors represent magnetic polarity, negative and positive. When the two polarities get too close together, kind of like you have up here, you have mixing. Mixing of the polarities creates an active region, and sometimes the active region turns into a CME, or a erupting solar flare. That's not the case right now because we're in solar minimum. The sun is very, very quiet. So to see even this right now is kind of surprising. I think that's a leftover from the last solar cycle. So have you guys noticed that most of the sunspots that do occur on the sun they are in the same location. Have you guys noticed that? With regard to its position from the equator of the sun. Most of the sunspot activity below the equator and above the equator is in the same general location. You never see it up too high, and you never see it down too low. Kind of like on Earth with regard to hurricanes. They don't go too high above, say, 40 and 50 degree latitude, or at least they don't form up there. And same way in the southern hemisphere. Well, the same physics apply on the sun. Surface of the sun. Activity doesn't really occur too much above the 40, 50 degree and the higher latitudes. Yeah, you'll see like a perpetual coronal hole at the top and the bottom of the sun, but you don't see sunspots down there, and you sure don't see solar flares. Doesn't happen. I've never seen it happen, ever. And I've been a sun watcher for well over a decade. I took classes on solar features and solar flares and CMEs. I actually took a class 10 years ago on that because I wanted to know what I was looking at, you know. Actually, very, very quiet. Be interesting to see how solar maximum comes in here in a couple of years, year and a half. And then it will be in solar maximum for a period of, you know, a few years. But the last solar maximum compared to the solar maximum around 2000 was about half. So we'll see if this one is about half of the one that we had back in 2000 and what was it, 2007, 2008, 2009. It didn't get very strong at all. Look at the earthquake maps here at the website. A little bit of activity around Mount Kilauea. Just had one here 35 minutes ago. Indonesia, magnitude 5.0. Pretty quiet. It's an article there. I'll come back to that in a minute. That's about swine flu from 2009. Talks about how long it lasted. Kind of gives more specifics, you know, compared to other types of flus. And honestly, I'm not saying that, you know, compared to swine flu, right now this is just getting started. Numbers are very low. Swine flu was huge. I mean, the numbers were up into the millions. So hopefully this one won't get up into the millions. Hopefully it won't even get close. And maybe taking all these preventative measures, you know, with the airlines not flying to these different countries for a while. It says Americans here, and this is from the New York Times, Americans evacuated from Wuhan are quarantined. And again, you know, probably not a bad idea just to rule out that they don't have the virus. See people here in suits. I mean, they're taking big precautions. Very contagious. Not sure what that airline is. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Kalita Air. Never heard of it. An aircraft transporting government employees and other Americans from Wuhan arrived at March Air Reserve Base in Riverside County, California. The United States has imposed a federal quarantine on 195 people who were evacuated Wednesday from Wuhan, China, to California to a military base. That would be the March Air Reserve Base in Riverside. The action means that the group will be held at the March Air Reserve Base in Riverside for 14 days. More than 200 people have perished, 98 infected with the virus. And here they are I mentioned earlier, they're spraying the streets over in Wuhan with some sort of a disinfectant. More than likely something that kills viruses, I guess, or bacteria. I don't know. I mean, you've got bicycles here, little motorcycles, cars. Huh. There they are, spraying that stuff. We were just talking about that. How would the virus be on the ground, on a sidewalk? Huh. Thank you, Stephen. That's very kind of you. Appreciate that. I'll get a swig of water here. But yeah, I wouldn't think the spraying the sidewalks and the roads would really be super effective. Wouldn't that stuff get in your water supply? You know, through the drains? Let's say it rained. Let's say it started raining right after they sprayed that stuff on the ground. That stuff would eventually run into the water supply, right? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know. See, these guys have on goggles. You have to protect your eyes. The mask is good, but it's not 100% guarantee. You have to protect your eyes. See, this guy here is not wearing goggles. So really, I mean, what's the point in having the mask? The number of confirmed coronavirus cases has gone up more than tenfold in a week, and it has. 43 more people have perished, bringing the total to 213. 2,000 new cases were recorded in the past 24 hours. So it is still climbing, and hopefully, with all the precautions that they're taking, it will not get anywhere near the magnitude of swine. Not anywhere close. Hopefully not. And here you can see a group of people. Some are wearing masks, some are not. And people here wearing masks, and that's over in China. Just crazy. You know, I hate to see things like that happen, but this is part of it. So basically, this drone thing, and I don't know how many drones, I don't know when this started. I just saw the article, and again, this article is dated today. It's only a few hours old. Apparently, the drones are looking for people not wearing masks. I don't know if it has some sort of a speaker system on it, if it's able to communicate with people and remind them to grab a mask. And it says here, you've been spotted, stop playing and leave the site as soon as possible, said through a microphone while you're looking at the drone. The innovative usage of the drone has Chinese citizens who have not been able to indulge in outdoor entertainment. The approach is not only creative, but also effective. They say it's actually working. They're just basically using the drones to monitor whether or not people are wearing the mask, and they're just a friendly reminder, please put on your mask while you're outside. They don't want people in the ground zero area where we just were, not running around with masks. They're trying to get it contained in this area. If they get it contained in this area, then that means that the outbreak shouldn't spread as far, you know. Right in here is where the drones are flying. Don't know how many. Don't know how often, if they're flying constantly. But that's a large city. I mean, that's not, again, like I spoke earlier, that's not a small village by any means. This place is loaded with high rises stacked in here, one after another after another. I'd say that's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 million. I don't know what the population of Wuhan is right off the top of my head. I'd say there's a few million people that live there. So, you can only imagine what they're going through, what they're dealing with. It makes you feel bad for them. I hope that this comes to, some sort of a good, ending soon, that it just kind of goes away. Wonder how it started, Some sort of a new strain. I think it's been around, but it's some sort of a new strain that hasn't been around. So, using drones to monitor the coronavirus to keep it from spreading. You got live stream websites that are keeping this up to date from Johns Hopkins. So, kind of keep people informed. It's a good way to keep yourself, knowledge is power. Here we go. 2009 influenza. This is swine flu. This is from the American Clinical and Climatological Association. In late April of 2009, Mexico became the epicenter of the swine flu. So Mexico is where that originated from. Lasted for a solid 6 months. Unfortunately, just over 10,000 people perished globally from the swine flu. Just unbelievable that something like that would occur in modern times. The Spanish flu back in 1918, 50 million people worldwide. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I'll post this down below in the description box if you would like. 50 million people. 1918, the Spanish flu. And that was back when we did not have non-stop airplane travel, moving people all around the world 24 hours a day. So that was a very intense strain of a virus. Very intense. So for now, compared to the swine, there's really not much comparison. It's very small because it's just getting started. So hopefully I've got a picture from China I want to share with you guys. I'm not exactly sure of the location. I'll switch topics here real quick. Check this out. Photo sent in by a young lady by the name of Kay. Do you see those up in the sky? Look at that. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I've got a video that I'm going to share with you guys when I'm finished working on it that was just sent to me actually today, and it reminds me a lot of what you see here with regard to the shape. We're looking at whatever this is in broad daylight. The photo was taken by a young lady by the name of Kay out of China. It's got the name on there, but I've got it blocked. See if I can. It's in Xi'an. Xian is where the photo was taken. But do you see the lights up in the sky? They form an arc, like a semicircle. And she told me that was not taken behind a window, because anytime we take photos behind a window, they're light contaminated. End of story. Any photograph you take behind a glass, whether it's your windshield, inside of a house, a restaurant, doesn't matter. If it's behind a window, then it just doesn't count. I mean, it would have to be pretty obvious. But there's always going to be light contamination. That there is not light contamination according to the young lady that shared that with me. Some sort of round objects in the sky that form a semicircle. And the video that I'm going to share with you guys has a large object in the night sky that you can see it has a shape to it. It's a little bit difficult to tell, but it is gigantic. I mean, gigantic. That's all I can say. I was shocked when I saw how big it was. Just unbelievable. It's got similarities to this, what you're looking at right now. Should be switching screens here soon. There you go. That was taken by Deanna out of Middlesex, North Carolina, about a week ago. That's not an airplane. That's not a helicopter. That's some sort of a very quiet, large craft in the sky in North Carolina. The video that I'm going to share with you guys, I'm not done working on it yet, but the video is out of South Carolina, and it's also a large object. The one you're looking at right here, I don't know how big this is. She was able to get a few pictures of it before it disappeared. Definitely looks like some sort of a triangle. Those aren't standard aviation lights, so don't know. Interesting photograph. She sent me like 4 photographs of this object, whatever it is. I'm still working on those, and what I try to do is pull forward, features. We want to see the thing. We always see lights in the sky from all over the world, but it's hard to get any type of images of a craft. They're either too far away, like the photo I shared with you from China, the young lady right here. It's too far away. We can see some little round lights in the sky. You can tell they're of some sort of intelligent design, but that's as far as I can go. I can't. If I go in too close, it becomes way too pixelated, and then we can't make any sense out of it at all. The photograph I just showed you, same thing. If I go in too close, adjust it too much to where I take away too many layers of the darkness, then it becomes way over pixelated to where you can't see anything at all. So I'm working on those. Those are just a couple of examples, but I'm working on a really cool one that I just received today, and I managed to get a little bit out of the night sky, and it looks like and the person that saw it was emphasizing in the video how big the object was. Really cool. So hopefully it will come out better. If it doesn't come out better, then I probably won't even share it. I mean, because you're just looking at a dark patch of sky with a couple of lights, much like you just saw. So I don't know. I've got one here I want to share with you guys real quick. Hang on, guys. There's a good one coming up. Now, you know what? I'm going to save it for that other video. I've got a interesting video out of North Miami, and I was going to show it in this video, but I'm not quite done yet. So once I share it with you guys, then I can't redo it. But yeah, I just got a message from a gentleman, asked me if I wanted to build a better website. And you want to know the truth? I've been thinking about that, because my website, certain features of my website are outdated, believe it or not. So I'm going to have to do something soon. Somebody just asked me if I wanted to build a better website. And I'm always looking to, improve and do things better. And all of us do. All of you watching this video do. You want to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. So if I do something, whether it be a video, a website, a photograph, whatever, I try to do my best. The website, though, is getting outdated. It hasn't been updated, keeping up with the constant change in technology and things like that. Yeah, it looks decent, but it could look better, and I do have to update it. So that's going to be something I'm going to be doing here probably, I don't know, in the next few months or weeks, however quick I can get it done. And it's going to have all the same content. And I was thinking about that before this gentleman here, his name's Mike, asked me if I wanted to, and I've been thinking about it. So all of the same material will be there. The Sky Phenomena gallery will still be there with all of the pictures. We've got thousands and thousands of pictures in there. And I want to make it to where you can easily send video files as big as you want. Because I get people all the time, that have, issues, and some people don't, sending videos. I want to make it where it's easy for everybody. If you have a video to send, just drag and drop it. We're still going to have all the same information here. So I know you guys, a lot of you are used to coming here each day, looking at the Schumann, different things that you like to look at. And these are things that I like to look at myself. I've looked at these same platforms for years. But the website itself needs updated. Numerically, on the backside, if you guys know anything at all about websites, there's metrics on the backside of the website that need updated. It's just that simple. So, gonna have to do that soon. But right now, here's the website here. So whenever I do update it, it may look a little different, but it'll still have all of the same information on there that we all like. I go there every day, look at the ionosphere. I normally know, what moon phase we're in, but I still use these all of them every single day. Have for years. You're welcome, Eddie. Yeah, the website definitely needs updated. And Mike, I may be getting in touch with you. I need somebody that can, do this work. I built most of what you're looking at here. I had some help, but we got to take it to the next level, and we will. All right, guys. Well, how long have we been on here? Almost an hour. You can find all of these links that I just shared with you down below in the description box. And don't forget about the daily story, because I do that twice a day. And again, it's probably easier to do this on your phone. When you go to my website on your phone or YouTube channel on your phone, when you see that circle, that red circle, I've got a new story. And they're, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds long. And I give daily updates twice a day. And I show pictures in that update of things that I'm working on that day. And usually I will share with you in a video format those pictures that I show you in those stories. It's a YouTube story is what it is. It's a new feature that you can find by just clicking on that red circle around my face on your YouTube platform on your smartphone. And it takes you to the story platform, and you'll see the videos that I put up. And I think they only stay on for 5 days, maybe a week, and then they fall off. So they stay on there for a certain period of time. They're not on there infinitely. So don't forget to check that out. I do update that every day. I've been doing it now twice a day. Oh, and before we forget, I'd like to remind everybody, and this link is not an active link. You'll have to go to the platform and subscribe to the channel, but don't forget, you have to go to your YouTube platform and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is not an active link. This is just where or what to look for. The subscribe button and that bell, that notifications bell. You have to turn on the notifications bell. Thanks for stopping by. Have a super day and be safe out there, guys.